Oh.
Hey, Marcia. You gotta share it.
Hmm?
You gotta to share it.
What do you mean do I have to share?
Like on Facebook.
We are live.
We are live.
Well, while we wait for Marcia, we are live, and this is the first time that we are on and ready before our guests. I don't think this has ever happened before. This is the first time.
But I think she's frozen. Marcia. I think she's frozen. We're having technical difficulties.
We are having technical difficulties.
I'm texting her.
I think Marcia is at the wrong place for brunch. In this case, the wrong place for the podcast.
No, she's in the right place.
This is all live.
I just want to see where I don't see it.
Recorded.
Oh, you're back.
You're frozen.
Yay. I'm frozen still?
Now you're good.
Can you see me? Am I moving weird?
Yeah, it's like weird. You want to turn on your Wi-Fi or off?
Let me see.
I want to share.
Worst case scenario. Let's see.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Is that good? Okay.
Yeah.
This light is terrible. Jeez. All right.
Hi, Marcia.
What's up? Oh, my dog's coming to say hi. Good. How are you guys?
We were wondering if you went to the wrong place.
Listen, I'm here dealing with technology that's like about 12 years old. This little Apple computer here. So what's up?
Well, we are live. Welcome everybody to Lais and the Coach, a special Friday night edition of our show. And this evening we will be talking to three-time WBFF competitor, Marcia.
Oh no, it's frozen again.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh no.
Marcia was on our show a year ago.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, if she can't, if she's frozen, she can't hear us. I think her Wi-Fi is bad.
Wi-Fi is bad.
Is it you guys or is it me?
It's you, because we can see you.
Yeah.
All right.
You can see
should
you
I just
every time you freeze.
I should just do it on my phone. Is that horrible that I have to like redo?
No,
it's fine.
No, we're good. We
Remix. Remix. Let me do it on my phone.
Marcia's gonna get reset. She's gonna do this on her phone. Luckily, we have all this technology available.
All the devices.
All the devices.
Stand by.
And while she sets up, we will chat. We've had quite a few people on the show lately.
I know, and we have so many next week again.
We have so many people coming out next week. I wonder, for anybody who's listening or watching, have you caught some of the older episodes?
That's a good question.
Especially for people that we've had on the show previously, like Marcia.
Yeah.
It's
so cool. Always cool to see the journey, the change.
Cool. But a lot of times we have returning guests, and I wonder if somebody goes back and goes through either if you're watching this on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, and you could go either, if you're on Facebook, you could scroll down. If you're on YouTube, you could just search through the page. But all of the interviews are there, not only for the person that we are chatting with, but all the other interviews that we've done in the past. How are we doing there, Marcia?
And if you go back to the previous episodes, this always happens. We always have technical difficulties.
I was going to try and put you on my AirPods, but.
Are you on your phone?
I'm going to do it on my phone, yeah.
You're still going to do it?
All right, here, let me see. Let me leave this one. I'm going to leave this one and get on the other one.
Okay. There we go.
Can you hear us?
You're still connecting to the
Oh, that's it, to the audio.
to the audio.
Yay, okay, can you hear us?
I'm gonna do it like that. How's that look?
Perfect.
There we
When in
go.
doubt, use your phone.
That's perfect. I know the phone is the best way, honestly.
You can have a blurred background and everything. Oh, there's music. What's up with that? Disaster here. My God. Okay.
This is what our journey with Marcia has been like.
Literally.
I mean, really? This is just typical of me.
It's typical.
I tried to do something good. I tried to be good.
So again, 3-time WBFF competitor, Marcia, who was on our show about a year ago, right?
Mhm.
Was it a year ago, Marcia, when you did Dallas?
July, yeah, a year ago. Yeah, that was my first, July of 2020.
So we chatted with her last year about her first experience competing. And then after that, we rolled right into another prep for Miami, which was up in the air until the last like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah. So the first show in July and the second one in November, which was Miami.
Yeah.
And it got moved.
Yeah.
And then we rolled right into the next prep right away.
Rolling.
How has, well, let me ask this. So you finished your first prep. How was it going right into another prep right away?
This prep was a little different for me.
You're talking about the second one, or?
So after each show, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, after each show, I feel like leading up to it, there's so much, that stress that, oh my God, it's coming, the countdown. And then right after the shows, I always go into this deep, like all the way down. I just, that high, crashes me. I crash, but then I just want to eat all kinds of things I couldn't eat.
Like a circus?
And the thing is like, I never really eat all the things I want to eat because it's in your mind, but I just, it's one of those, it plays with your head, it messes with your mind. So I get in this weird downer, I guess, after a show, I deflate.
Isn't that funny? Because you and I have talked about it several times.
Yes.
One of the things with and I never go into like, this is what I did with this person, and we cut carbs and manipulated water. I never talk about any of that stuff. But with Marcia, we've specifically spoken about how as she's done this more and more, all these old tendencies keep creeping up on things that she craved or wants to eat. But then the second that she has them, they don't sit right. She don't want it. Like,
Yeah.
and I keep telling her, I'm like, those are like old patterns and old like habits. And it's like, I used to like whatever, I used to like whatchamacallits growing up, right? And I think I've grabbed one once in the last decade. And it wasn't the same, It's
You ruined it for me.
I did.
It's so funny because we go through this journey with the idea of evolving and of changing so many things, yet subconsciously we fight to stay the same and we fight to go backwards, and it's very interesting to me that happens.
Well, and one of the things that we decided to do was we built in ice cream every night for you.
Yeah.
And not like I usually am pretty flexible with everybody, right? So a cookie here, a little halo top there, but no, we were Ben and Jerry's 7 nights a week with you.
Yep. Are you there?
It's back.
Yes.
Hello.
Hold on.
You need to fix your internet, please.
Oh my God.
That's
What
okay.
now?
That's okay. It went into like slow motion.
That was weird.
Because we can hear your audio in real time, but then there's a delay in the video.
There's a delay in the video. It happens all the time when I'm doing posing sessions with her. You have to turn off your Wi-Fi. We're on.
I'm gonna turn it off.
There's a switch.
It is off.
So you gotta turn it on.
How's it? Is it on? Turn it on?
Yeah.
Why is this
The
happening?
benefit of experience.
Mhm.
Mind you, I set this all up. I had it ready.
There you go.
There you go. We're good.
All right.
So we built in ice cream for Marcia. And you and I spoke that this would be the prep that you had ice cream all the time, right? Every day.
Your friends episode.
But then little by little, you know, we had to like pull stuff out and other things were coming in. Do you think that having the ability to have it kind of cancels it out a little bit?
I mean, I didn't miss it when you took it away because I was prepared because I had it
Right.
for a long time. And I didn't miss it. No, I didn't miss it. I just started having it now and I'm already like, okay, I've had it for like 6 days. I'm like, sometimes I'm full, but I'm like, I'm gonna make room for the ice cream.
You know,
Which is
one of
crazy.
the
We always want what we can't have.
one of the things I remember I was coaching
Insane.
somebody, right? And no matter what happened, they would always find something that wasn't on their plan, right? Always. So I said, okay, because to me, I don't care. I don't care what anybody eats, as long as it fits, right? So I looked at everything that they deviated toward and built a plan around all these things, right? It was just
Everything.
everything. Anything from grilled cheese sandwiches to
Oreo cookies.
all of it. It was all of it, right? The entire plan was like that. And then they couldn't follow it.
But they're
I
doing a
think-
show?
No.
Like, wow.
Regular person. But I think that it's the permission to do it or this is built in kind of like eliminates the I want this now. It's like, now it's
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. Like now that I'm, 3 weeks out, there's so many things that I want that again, like he said, anything can be built in, right?
Yeah.
But all of these things I didn't want 3 weeks ago when I probably could have had it, and I'm not gonna want it in 3 weeks from now. Like it's like the most random. I bought cereal for the kids. I'm like, oh my God, I really want cereal. I don't even like cereal. I don't even like milk, and it's like
It's a mess with your mind. It messes with your mind.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So we finished that show. It was Thanksgiving Day weekend, and then the holidays rolled around, right? So we navigated through Christmas, office parties, New Year's.
I went on vacation also.
You went on vacation. You had a good time. We
Yes.
planned for it. One of the things that people always say is like, oh, when I come on back from vacation, I'll start. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, vacations are part of your journey, right? And you don't have to go on vacation and not do stuff.
Yeah.
It's more about let's keep track of the stuff so that when you come back, we know what we're dealing with.
A lot of times people isolate life and their journey, and they're one and the same. Like your life is still happening, everything is still going to happen, and the journey has to stay there, even in a time where you need to plan for it or watch for it or have flexibility in it. But they're not separate. It's not like, okay, when this is not happening in my life, then I can do this. Because the moment that someone waits for that moment, it's just a matter of 2 weeks before life happens in a different way.
And I'm going to segue because one of the big questions that I had for you was, you got really busy at work, right? Toward the end of this prep. How did you navigate all the stuff that you had going on at work, home, and I got to work out and eat my food?
Yeah.
I mean, I know because we talk all the time, but
Tell the people,
tell the people
Marcia.
how you
Tell the
navigate
people.
being so busy.
Well, so the prep, like I said from the beginning, and I remember talking to you at the very beginning because I felt like Coach knows that I'm off. So I remember I had that confessional call with you that, I had lost my mojo because right from the beginning, like January, it was from the beginning. I had that, I lost my mojo feeling, and I don't like feeling like that. I like to feel like I'm excited and I'm all in. So, but I did not, and I talked to some people about it, like some of the team members, and they're like, no, I'll just, take a break. But I didn't want to take a break. I was like, I'm going to get over this hump. It's just a hump and I'm going to get over it. And I did. But at the same time, all this work stuff was happening. So I really had to navigate the work, the the slump that I was in, and then kind of, decide, am I going to do it or not? I was never on the fence of I'm going to quit, even though people were like, just quit, it's fine,
Who says that?
Yeah. Some people were like, take a break.
I
It's
hope
too
you're
bad.
our team.
You've done 2 shows. Yeah. And so, I mean, because, people are like, oh, but, you need a break. You need a break. You're tired. Just don't do it this time. But for some reason, I was like, no, I want to do it, And so the reason why I wanted to do it was because if I started off like this and I ended up finishing on a good note, I'm like, oh, look, I got through that.
You completed it. You completed it.
So that's how it started. And like I said, a lot of big opportunities came up at work, and it only got crazier from there until I got promoted at work. And that was like April's when I started doing the interviews. By the time everything came together, it was like late May, early June. So honestly, I did it like I always do it. You just get it done. You just do it. You work, you eat your food, and you come home, and you work, you're with your family. My routine didn't change. It was just at work sometimes I would tell you I haven't eaten and it's 1 o'clock and I'm having my first meal, because it was one of those things that you couldn't control. But I got it done because I was already in that routine. I already knew what I had to do. So it wasn't a question of I don't have time. No, I still got up every morning to do my workout, because that just gives me the energy and that mindset for the day. It gives me that boost I need. So I was used to doing that. And then, like I said, the food, I got it done. It was routine for me.
Do you think that having that routine in place, like specifically, for example, with the workout, because that's typically the first thing that goes when somebody gets busy.
Yeah.
Like, well, now I don't have time to work out.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't interfere with their routine, they could have something to do in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden the workout goes. Do you think that it's because it was ingrained?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and then I've heard all these, everybody's podcast throughout the week, and it's like they said, it's a non-negotiable. It's part of my day. Like it's like, okay, I have a meeting. I have to take a shower. I have to work out. Like, it's just in your day. It's not like, tomorrow, because something else is going to happen tomorrow. And we have, a deadline. There's a countdown. Right. So you miss a workout, that's 500 reps that you missed, that you could have.
Do you think if you didn't have that deadline or that countdown, that you would have maybe pushed some of the training or staying the course?
So it's funny, because since I'm not doing the show in November, which
don't spoil it for the people, we're not there yet.
I know I'm having FOMO already, but I am doing something else, which I guess we'll talk about. But It's funny because since I know I'm not wearing the bikini, I could see how you're like, I'm gonna eat that, or I'm not gonna do that. Let me tell you, if you want to commit to something, you sign up for a show, because you will not miss a workout or have an extra bite of ice cream. It makes you stick to that plan. It's amazing. It's magic.
It's the only goal. And honestly, that's why I do show after show after show after show, because it's the only way for me to stay fully on track.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always going to be on track. I enjoy working out. I enjoy eating a certain way. I enjoy looking a certain way. I'm never going to go off the deep end. But to stay that on track, that committed, you need a big goal.
Yeah. It's totally like that for me right now.
And to go back really quick, I'm so happy that you didn't quit, because even showing up on stage, whether you loved everything about it or not, is not the point. Quitting on yourself would have been such a terrible thing, because to me, once you can do it once, it becomes a habit. It's almost like that couple. We talk about this all the time. That couple that always breaks up. The moment you break up once and you make that okay, then it's okay every time you get angry to break up, or the person that always leaves when you get into a fight. Like, that becomes the norm. The first time it's like, oh my God. But then after that, it's normal. So the moment that you say you're going to do this and you don't, and you back out, unless it was something that you absolutely couldn't control, like you got an injury or something major. Right. But the moment you decided to quit, who knows how many more times you'll do it again, or into your next process, how all in are you not going to go? Because you already know that if anything, you can give yourself the out and quit.
Yeah. No, and also, you know, again, I don't like to quit anything. If I commit to it, I'm going to do it. But I wanted to be part of the team. I wanted to experience all that. And I didn't want to miss out on that. So, and I know myself, I know that I was going to get over the, you know, that little slump that I had going on. And I did, I tried other things. I went to a boxing class. I did some yoga, you know, and, you know, I was having conversations with myself every morning and it worked out, you know, and I'm glad I did it. And like you said, I wasn't totally excited about, like, you know, my bikini and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm like, the bikini was great. I had a great time. I challenged myself. You know, I signed up for 2 categories and the weekend was epic. Like I would have really been upset with myself if I would have not done it, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that that's one of the things, like sometimes people get a little fixated on trying to do things one way only when there's so many ways that you can do it, right? And when we talk, of course, we have a goal and an objective. And of course, there are things that you had to do for this to play out. But then there's so many other things that you could do along the way to either reignite that spark, which is why I said, do all these different things. Like, let's find something that either reignites the spark with wanting to work out or just maybe just having the variety of doing different things could be the thing that ignites it again. Because I was going to say, unfortunately, but I don't think that that's the right word. A lot of this requires repetition and commitment. And sometimes that could get a little stale because you know, you got to execute the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that at the end of all of that execution, the payout is so great that it is worth, you know, it's most things are like that, right? Like when you go to school, you know, day one for whatever program you sign up for, you don't know anything. You show up every day, you learn the lessons, you take your test, but you don't sign up for another college or another university midway through because, you know, the professor called you out because you didn't do your homework, right? Or in this case, the coach calls you out because, you know, maybe you ate too much, you know.
Coach with the metaphors.
Oh.
But I will say
you see how I threw that in? I sprinkled it.
As you do multiple shows, that's totally normal. But I think that where people go wrong is they take every show as another experience like the one they had. And I believe that every show should be a completely different experience from each other. That's why sometimes people be like, can I wear the same bikini for the second show? I'm like, sure, you know, if you wanted to do that. But I always go into every prep, into every show in a completely different way. You know, like this time, this is how I'm going to switch up my workouts. Like, not that I program it, but like, you know, for example, for this prep, we started going to a different gym, you know, and a gym that had different kind of equipment. Like you said, switching up the workouts, like the ability to change how you're training. Maybe you're training at a different time, you know, maybe you're training in a different way. Maybe you're taking weekend classes somewhere. So I always like to just switch up that entire experience because it does get really stale. Same thing with the posing. I like to come and present myself a completely different way. I'll change my hair completely. You know, I go a completely different direction with the bikini and with the gown. Like just everything, every show should be its own thing. Almost like every kid that you have, if you have multiple kids, they're their own person. Like, sure, they're both your kids. Sure, you love them both the same, but they're different.
She's like, I hope. Depends on the day. We know.
But like you have to approach that prep as if it was brand new because it is. Just because you've done it before, you shouldn't do it the same again. You should do it completely different, you know?
Yeah. And then that's why I want to, I'm sorry, I already spoiled it, but that's why I want to take a little break because I feel like I don't want to do it just to do it. And now that I am going to have some time in between, like I want to do exactly that. I want to come back different. I really want to go all in, you know, with my bikini, with my gown, you know, change everything up and just start fresh because it has been different every time. And I am now, you know, picking apart different little things, which I never thought I would. It's kind of crazy.
That comes with experience.
Which is something new that I didn't experience with the last 2 shows, you know? And I told you, I told Coach, and I also told, I remember Erica, when I came out of the show, I said, I experienced something I've never experienced before. And I'm kind of like freaked out about it because I've never cared but I was kind of bummed. I'm like, wow, you know, I feel like what am I doing wrong? What do they want from me? You know, but it's funny how all of a sudden that switches. Like you all of a sudden care about little things and you really start to pick it apart.
Yeah.
So that never happened with show 1 or show 2.
And I think that this is a really good example because again, we've done a lot of interviews in the last week and we have a bunch coming, but this is a really good example of pivoting, right? But not necessarily like just saying, well, did that, I'll go back to either not doing anything or I'll figure something else out one day. We pivoted immediately. And as this goal found its conclusion, we were already setting up for the next thing, right? And I think that is one of the things that a lot of times people miss because most goals are very similar, right? They want to get in shape for a vacation or for a wedding or for a birthday or, you know, insert external motivator, right? But then that thing happens, and whether or not they committed to their process and got in shape is irrelevant because they're going to do the thing anyway, right? They're still going to get married or they're still going to go on vacation. But then once that's over, then there's nothing else. And then they lose all of that. You know, the amount of people that I talk to that say, I did this and then I got married and, you know, that was the end of it, right?
And I gained 20 pounds.
And I think that for all of the athletes or for all of you guys that are on the team, one of the things that I always say as we get closer to the show is let's already discuss what's next.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to leave that weekend on such a high and then go back home and Monday and Tuesday realize that you don't have something coming up now.
Which is what we just talked about.
Which is what we just talked about,
Yeah.
right?
But I absolutely agree with that.
So
Totally.
we already knew that she was going to take a break from the stage and from competing. A break it's not going to happen. It's like, I'm just going to give myself more time. But then we still got to fill that time
void.
with something.
It becomes a void.
So instead of looking for an aesthetic goal, right, with the way that you look, we look for a performance goal. And we just flipped it upside down because with aesthetics, you know, you get on stage and you're muscular or lean or whatever the case. And what you did to get there is irrelevant.
How much you weigh,
how much you squat or push or pull, no one cares, right? You get in shape, whether you did yoga or CrossFit or Taibo or, you know, Suzanne Summers,
Taibo.
5-minute. Yeah, like,
you know.
He's back in the 80s.
Uh-oh.
Listen, I've been around. But no matter what you did to get there, you got there, right? But no one cares how you did it, right? In terms of the technicality. When you do something that's performance-based,
all that matters
is the performance, right? So we talked about it a few times, and luckily we have a few people participating in an event that's coming up that kind of fit the criteria of a performance-based goal, but that would still contribute to the way that she looked because of the way that it was formatted.
Yeah.
So we transitioned Marcia from the stage to a different kind of stage. She's going to do the High Rocks event at the end of this year.
Are you so excited?
I'm gonna get some street cred now.
Oh, yeah.
So
They're gonna be like, you not only wear a bikini, but like you're pulling and pushing some heavy shit.
Yeah. So for any of you that don't know High Rocks, it's an athletic event that involves 8 different strength-based modalities with 8 different 1,000 meter runs. So basically
it sounds so fancy.
It is fancy, Lais.
It is.
So basically the way it's set up is this race, it's a race, and it starts with a 1,000 meter run, which is 1 kilometer. And I know that in the US, we don't use the metric system. So it's a little less than a mile. Okay. So it's a 1,000 meter run, and it's all indoors. And then there's a strength event, which depending on how the race is set up is either going to be 1,000 meter row or 1,000 meter ski or something like that. And then you run for 1,000 meters again. And then you come back and you're either pushing the sled or pulling the sled. And basically the entire race has 8 different strength-based events, but there's a 1,000 meter run in between all of it, right?
0.6 miles.
It's 6.6 miles. And the goal behind it is to develop the kind of conditioning, right, that allows your body to be strong and have endurance simultaneously, right? So that you can complete both endeavors. Because if you run marathons or 10Ks or 5Ks, you're conditioned for just running. It doesn't always translate into having strength to do stuff.
Right.
You know, when you want to pick up your kids or pick up your grocery bags.
Right. Running doesn't have anything to do with strength. It has
right.
to do with endurance.
And same thing. And strength doesn't translate into running. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So a few years ago, when all these mud runs started, I thought that they were so cool because it was like, well, there's an obstacle in between the running. So that was cool. But this takes it to a whole other level.
Yes, it does.
Because the obstacle is an actual measurable strength endeavor, right? So you've got to push or pull a sled for a certain amount of distance
with weight on
it, with a specific amount of weight, and everybody in your category is doing the same thing, and then that's how you can quantify that. But my point to this whole thing is that you get the ability to build endurance physically, and you get to build strength physically, and as a result, your body does morph and transform in a way that it wouldn't if you were only doing one of the two things.
Yes. You're gonna add a whole dynamic to your body.
So we've met the demand of having a deadline and a goal date, right?
Yeah.
Day and time. So we have a countdown. We have a big goal because it's something you've never done before. And now all of us
challenging.
Yeah, it's super cool though.
Lais really wants to scare me.
No,
she's like, it's scary. It's bad. Yeah,
it's intense. Like,
and you know, it's funny. It's funny because it was piquing my interest because I had done races in the past. I did the mud run and some triathlons and half marathons, that kind of stuff. So I haven't done that in years. I haven't really been running, but I saw Juan and Layla do it, and I was like, oh my God, I kind of want to do it, but you know how it is. You're like, I don't know if I can do it. And it was standing in the line in registration in Orlando when I was there with you, with Coach, with I think Juani was there and Sanfa. And Coach was like, I think you could do it. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, listen to me. I think you could do it and you could be really good at it. So I was like, really? So that kind of was like, okay, if Coach thinks I could do it and I could be good at it, I'm going to do it. So it was because of you. He's playing his Jedi mind tricks on me again.
Planted the seeds.
For me, when I make these faces that you're trying to scare me, it's because I hate running. So you run, that's different. Like if you like running, if you have run, that's what the thing with Layla. Layla's a runner. So
but you know what? Now that she says Layla, right? That's a great example of somebody who was really good at running, but then on the strength part, we had to create a whole other thing because we had to start at zero, right? Totally. And along the way, we had a goal date, we had a timeline, and sure enough, the result was incredible along the way. And one of the reasons that I thought it would be a great idea for you is because it met a lot of the same things, and it would give you an opportunity to take a break from worrying about the way the body was going to show up. Because all we need to do is show up. Number one, it's going to be cold where we're going, right? So you could be layered up. But number two, we are fueling with the purpose of your body having enough fuel in the tank to perform these events. So it doesn't translate to the abs or the separation in the muscle. We don't even care if you could see it. We need as fuel to finish this race, right? Yeah. And it's a whole different element. But I think that one of the reasons that I brought it up to you was because I also know that the reward of doing something like this to the physique is going to be 10x, which we will be able to take advantage of after this race, right? So there's always something ahead, and I think that, just circling back to where I started, a lot of times people don't have that next thing, and it's one of the reasons that they just stop working on themselves altogether.
And it forces you to stick to something. It really does.
And Marcia's a great example of somebody who's, she's got kids, she's married, she's super busy at work, and is still making time to get this done, you know.
Whatever her personal goal might be, you know, just having one and working towards it. How do you feel about High Rocks coming up?
I mean, I'm excited because it's something new, but also, I mean, my husband's gonna do it with me. And also, I'm excited that a lot of people on the team are doing it. So it's gonna be another fun, you know, weekend event that we can share.
We actually did a count earlier today.
Yeah,
Like we've got,
it's 10.
as of right now, we've got about 10 people. We're rolling 10 deep.
It's amazing. I love it. I'm excited about it. And that also, honestly, that helps me when there's other people suffering with me at the same time. I'm like, we're doing this together. We're doing it together. So I'm excited about it.
But let me ask you this. So, because I'm sure that you chat with other people that are in a similar situation. Maybe they have children and work, and are pursuing, you know, some kind of endeavor where they want to either transform the way that they look, or whatever. What do you think is the hiccup there when you know you can do it or you are making the time? When you're looking at it from the outside, what do you think is the hiccup that doesn't allow them
to do it too?
To do it also.
People that want to do it or are currently doing it.
Yeah. People that are on the path, right? They're like, you know, I really want to, but I just can't wake up early like you do, Marcia, or you know, I can't measure my food like you do. You know, whatever thing.
What is the separating factors?
I think it's the recurring theme that we've heard, because I've watched, like I said, I've watched all the podcasts, and people get in their own head. They get in their own way, and before they even know they could do it, they're saying they can't do it. Just because, you know, you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh, I can't, you know. I think it's just people getting in their own head. And again, those finite statements that, you know, even I made back in the day. I'm never gonna weigh my food. That's ridiculous. I'm never gonna carry a gallon of water around with me. I'm gonna make fun of those people. I said that, and I thought those things. I always said I was never gonna work out at home. All those I nevers I'm doing. So I think it's just people just tend to do that. I don't know why. And then once you don't do it, then you're like, oh my God, it wasn't that hard. It really wasn't. And so then, you know, like there's somebody on our team that, a friend of mine, which I can't say her name because she doesn't want to reveal that she's doing this to the show. So she's one of those people that I guess she related to me because, you know, we're the same age, we went to the same school, and she's like, I can't believe you did this. You know, how did you do this? So she started kind of getting intrigued and you know, joined the meal plan workout thing. And all of a sudden, a couple months later, she decided to like join for the show. She's still freaking out. And I know exactly what she's feeling, because that's exactly how I felt when I did this. I didn't tell anybody. I was mortified. I was, you know, like, who do I think I am? All those things that she's feeling, I know exactly, because I went through the same thing. But, you know, it's just, again, you kind of just go little by little, baby steps. And then you're like, okay, I did that. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then once you get there and you do it, you're like, okay, it really wasn't that bad. But it's just, it's a process of, you know.
You have that sense of accomplishment too. But I love that, because that is such a, like, the voice in our head is so powerful. And the whole, who do I think I am, is why people is so real. Because like, we've talked about this so much, where women feel like if they are out there, if they are confident and happy with the way that they look, and they show it or they do anything about it, that it's bad because you're full of yourself, right? And it's like, why is it bad for me to feel good about myself? Why is it bad for me to compliment myself? As long as I'm not putting anybody down and I'm talking about me, why is it okay for us to have negative self-talk but not positive self-talk? And a lot of the women that we talk to that are kind of interested on getting on stage, where they're like, that really sounds cool, or yeah, I would love to look like that, but you know, I'm not that person. I'm not like a model. I don't get in front of a camera. And it's one of those, who the hell do I think I am? Like, stay in your lane, you know? And like, we're brought up that way. Don't be conceited. Don't be full of yourself. Like, don't be too outspoken. And it's like, it's fucked up, because who the hell do I think I am? Like, whoever the hell I want to be. And I should want to be whatever, do whatever, you know? But so many women think like that. I used to think the same thing. Like, who do I think I am? Like, over here trying to do these modeling faces. Like, this is so ridiculous. Like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, what possessed me to think that this was something I could do? You know?
But this whole world is still very mysterious to people, because when I tell people what I'm doing, they obviously immediately think of this whole bodybuilding. I'm like, no, it's not that. And then you have to, this is very unique. This type of fitness show that we do, it's not like the typical ones that people think. So they're like, okay, but what is it that you're doing? And so then of course you show them the pictures and they're like, oh, wow, they freak out, but it's such a mystery to them because they have no clue how to get there, what it took to get there. Number one, they think it's impossible. Yeah, they think it's impossible. They think that you're doing all these crazy things. I mean, they've asked you all these crazy questions. I'm like, no, but I can't blame them, because I'm sure I would have thought this. I thought the same thing too. Yeah. It's just one of those things that if you take the time to really find out, you'd be pleasantly surprised that it wasn't that complicated.
Well, on that note, one of the things that I asked you last time on the show was that, right? What are people saying to you? What are they asking? So let me put it a different way. 3 shows in, you've been doing this all this time. Are people still asking the same questions?
No, it's now they're like, oh, are you done? Are you done?
Are you done with your
can you eat now? Now it's kind of like, oh, you're done, right? And it's funny because here, and I've said that to myself every single time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be done after this, that's it. And it's like, I don't want to be done. I'm not done. Like, I just kind of keep going. But again, you don't know that until you know. And so if I'm not ready to finish, to be done, I'm gonna keep going. But everyone's already used to it already. They're like, oh, are you doing another show? When's your show? So now they're asking me what's next. I'm like, well, I'm doing this race. Oh my God, that's so cool. So, now they're used to it because it's been 1.5 years that I'm doing something, but now it's a different thing I'm doing.
Right.
So, and now I'm sure they'll ask me like, well, what's that? So I've had to explain what's High Rocks and the 8 events. And so that's my spiel now that I'm doing.
I love it.
I don't know how, but I end up coaching a lot of runners. And one of the things that's very different about women that run, it doesn't matter how many races, no one ever asks them if they're done. No one ever says, is that your last race? Oh man, you're doing another race. It's never a question, right? It's like, oh, you're doing a 5K, that's so cool. You're doing a 10, you do a marathon. No one ever asks, are you done yet? Like, stop running.
It's because of the structure of the food and the discipline. You have to drink the water, the food, do the posing.
It's not though.
The thing is that
I don't know, because they don't see the run that.
It's not.
Running requires so much discipline because you've got to run all the time, and you've got to little by little like increase your running stride and how much you're running into this race. And not for nothing, but my runners eat, a lot, and at least the way I coach them. But I think where I was going with it is that goal is okay to have, right? Because I'm not going to run, and that's cool to watch you do that. But when I'm trying to lose weight or look better, and I see you doing so good, and
consistently,
I can't, I always, to me as a coach, I always look at that and say, the challenge there isn't that they can't support you, it's that it's a reflection of,
which we talked
man,
about
she's done 3 shows already, and I still can't manage to, stick to X, Y, or Z thing, whatever it might be.
What were you gonna say?
Well, no, because I was gonna tell you the running when I used to run, I haven't run in so long, but I used to do the half marathons, and I did get the, on a Friday night we were hanging out. Oh, but you're not gonna drink. Oh, but you have to wake up early. Oh my God, but why are you doing that? That's ridiculous. And it's funny because some of those people ended up doing a half marathon years later, but they gave me the time, and they would tell my husband the same thing. But you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Are you crazy? You're getting up at, so it's just funny because people I don't know. They just want to say that for some reason.
I think the are you done with this specifically is, I think when someone sets out to do this, most people around them don't think that they're going to make it because they know you. So it's like, she's not actually going to do that. She's not actually going to make it. And then you do. And then it's like, okay, they made it. She's not actually going to do that again. And then you do. And then it's like, all right, are you done now? Like, are you done proving me wrong? Because that's really what you're saying. It's a reflection of them. Everything is a reflection of us when we talk. Yeah. So it's really hard, I think, for people to come to terms with the fact that Joe Schmo, who they've known forever, can do something that big so many times. It's like, all right, like, can we be done already? Like, even though they don't notice it, that's really what's happening, you know?
Now, let's circle back to the weekend of the Orlando show, because you drove up with some of the other team members, yes?
Yes.
And you guys look already smiling, like,
Oh
you
my God.
because that party started early.
I was going to drive up on myself. And then, I was like, maybe it's not a good idea. Because what about if I get a flat tire or something? So I texted Julie and I said, Julie, are you driving up with anybody? She's like, yeah, Jenny's driving up with me. I'm like, okay, can I join? She's like, yeah. So the three of us, we met at Julie's house and we already started like in the driveway doing a TikTok video, but we had the best time. We sang up the entire ride up. We were singing to like at the top of our lungs, doing TikTok videos. We had coffee before we left, cafecito. But it was like a party. It was such a blast.
I love it.
I honestly believe that you guys set the tone for the weekend.
100%.
Because we all saw the videos, right? And it's almost like that was the inception of the good time that weekend was going to turn into.
And everyone said it. They're like, like if you watch Fabia's podcast, she's like, I saw their TikToks and I was like, damn, I'm going to be there tomorrow. And same thing with Sam. Like, I was watching the TikToks and I was watching them go up and how much fun they were already having. It's like, it really set the tone for like, this is just going to be a fun weekend. And that's exactly what it was. It was stress-free, just fun.
And that is what our team is all about. But look, you see our pillow, Marcia?
I know.
That is what we always want for everybody, right? And we always say, like, it should be a good time and you should, you're going on this journey, you're transforming, but when we get to the weekend, it should be fun and
exciting and happy
for you and all of that. And this group it was so cool to watch it all happen.
It was the
right?
Coolest. It was the coolest.
But at the same time, it was textbook what we tell everybody you should be working toward. Like, you go on this journey, you're going to get on stage, and when you get to the weekend, it's almost like the stage is a formality because you've already done the work, right?
Yeah.
You've been for weeks, you've trained. So getting on stage is like a formality. And if anything, our group was having such a good time that all these like registration night and the show like kind of got in the way of all the fun.
Yeah, like we didn't do a few TikToks because we didn't have time. But yeah, it gives you that permission to just like be silly and have fun. I mean, I was looking forward to it, but every time we've done a weekend, it just gets better. And then you have these new girls, and I mean, and again, I agree that having those meetings beforehand, having the mock show, the photo shoot, you already start to create those bonds early on. Yeah. So by the time that you get to the show, they already know you. So like with all the new girls, it was like half were the new ones and half weren't. So it was like we were the big sisters, like helping them out, and it was awesome. It was so good. That was the best part, really, just to be with everybody.
Yeah. And for us, I wish, honestly, like, and if you're watching, I wish that there was a way for us to explain that in a way where we could say, we're going to take you on this journey. We're going to make sure that you could eat and build all these cool things along the way, fun foods and balance and blah, and we're going to transform the way you look. And it's going to all end in this fun weekend.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody would believe it.
It's impossible to explain the feeling of that kind of fun, of that kind of bond, of doing something for yourself and really spending that weekend worried about nothing, focused on nothing, just truly enjoying. And that's honestly sometimes how I break this down. When we talk to people for the first time and they ask about costs and about how it goes in terms of like the WBFF stuff, I'm like, think of it like a getaway for you. Like,
absolutely.
You're going to Napa with your girls. You want to do the wine tastings. You want to get a massage. You want to get in this hot tub. Maybe you want to squish some grapes with your feet, right? Like you should go there and you should do it all with your girls and have a fun time. Like that to me is what the WBFF weekend with our team is like. Like that's how we envision it. Like you should get there and you should be able to do it all. And it should be like the best time. And you should leave so recharged and so full, It
was like a retreat. That's what it felt like. And I didn't know that going into this. The first time I had no idea. So it was a very surprise. Yeah.
The best part is that you get to go do all that
In shape.
in shape.
And I was gonna say, and then you get like, a nice little figure after.
Right. Like, because when you went to Dallas, like Dallas is always going to be such a great memory because we were in the middle of chaos, right? Like
God, yeah.
quarantine had just started, COVID's everywhere, everything shut down. And all of a sudden they managed to pull out this one show, right?
That was awesome. I was like, please don't.
All right, we're going, and we get to Texas and we did our thing. We worked out in a parking lot in the desert heat. We go grocery shopping. We had a good time inside of what we could do, right? And same thing with Miami. Miami, again, still, restrictions. But inside of all of that, we were able to have a great time. And I think that from show to show, like you said, it gets better and better.
It's better and better.
And it gives people like this thing to look forward to, right? Like this weekend retreat to look forward to. But at the same time, you're working on yourself along the way because your body's changing.
It's not just the retreat.
Your health is improving, your well-being.
It becomes addictive, honestly, because I'm already like looking forward to going to Vegas. I mean, that's my first time that I'm going to watch a show, and I'm excited like to watch you and Carrie and Erica. I'm excited like if I'm doing the show, and then I'm excited about Miami. I'm not going to compete, but I'm going to be there like if I'm competing. I'm going to do everything I can except getting on the stage.
Yeah.
I just want to I want to be part of that feeling, and so, and again, even if I'm not competing, I'm still going to be supporting my team. I'll go grab water for you. I'll go do this. I'll help, whatever I can do. I just want to be part of it because again, it's like this amazing high that you get. And I'm not losing sight of the goal because I'm still going to be working out. I'm still going to, doing all the things I do, but for a different goal in December, which again is going to be a party. So
different party.
Yeah.
I don't think that I've come across a goal that can give you the best of both worlds like that, where you could have that fun retreat experience,
without it just being a retreat though.
With people that, that are all along the journey with you, because that's the other thing. You're on this fitness transformation journey. There's other people that are on it with you and it culminates in that weekend, but you get that weekend getaway experience with I've been working on this transformation and now look at the way that I look and feel.
Not only look at the way I look and feel, how much I've evolved, how much I've gone all in on myself. I set a goal for myself. You transformed inside and out. And
there just isn't an experience that blends those things together like that. And ultimately that's what we always want for everybody. The competition itself is so secondary because the outcome that you get, the experiences that you get along the way, and what you get to go home with after that is so much greater.
Honestly, it's been a really pleasant surprise because I went in it thinking one thing and I've gotten like exponentially so many things out of this that I never in a million years thought was even part of this. Because the first one, you think, oh, I'm doing a competition and that's it. And you're nervous, you're so in your head about so many things because it's so new. But then after you're like, okay. And like you said, it evolves. It's such an evolution, a transformation, I don't know. It's just, and I look like even like the bond that we've created with our team, like
that's what I was going to say.
We're doing workouts at our houses. Like we're getting together twice a month to like work out together and hang out, I mean, that has to say something, that, and again, we don't see these people every day, but just the fact that we're doing this same thing together, it just creates that instant bond, that camaraderie with everyone. So that's been my favorite part, honestly. Like you just gained like a whole bunch of like a family, like an extended family and friendships and things that I didn't think that this was going to be like this at all.
Which is so hard to do in general as an adult. Adults don't normally make friends randomly like that. But also I hear you in the whole unexpected thing, just because a lot of times you get a bunch of women together, it can get catty, or a bunch of women trying to look a certain way, it can get competitive. And it's like, there's none of that. Like it is literally a family. And I'm so happy to hear that that's how it feels, because that's what we want.
Yeah, no, it's totally, it is that.
So as a big sister on the team and 3-time competitor with number 4 coming, you know, what do you say now after you've done it 3 times to someone who is maybe not just contemplating, but saying those same things like, that's not really me. That's, you know, that's for those other people. But deep down, they're like, I really wish I could. You know, what does this version of Marcia say?
I mean, this version of me, I would say, don't knock it till you tried it. You know, you have to just throw yourself in, and again, finding the right people to do it with, because that makes all the difference. You know, I have a friend that did it on her own. She had no guidance. She was kind of on her own. It wasn't the same. And she sees all the fun that I'm having and the, you know, the team, that she's like, wow, that's the way to do it. You know, I wish I would have done it that way. So I think it's not about doing the show. It's about who you're doing it with, and who's leading you, and who's guiding you, and who you're sharing it with. Because at the end of the day, it's not the same if you're doing it on your own. It's just going to be another thing that you're doing, and it's boring and not exciting. It's, again, it's, if you want to have a whole life-changing experience and do it with the right people, then I would say, you know, do it with us, honestly. Not with everybody else, but do it with us, you know, because I'm being biased, but I mean, you know, it's life-changing. It really is. And it sounds so corny when you say it out loud. It really, it's just
It is.
thing, because
And
when
I
I
think
get
we
to
need,
the super show, but
yeah, but I think we all need more life-changing moments and
Yes.
life-changing
And
experiences.
life living moments.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just going through the day. It's like,
it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to be excited about, you know, and again, like you said, you know, a lot of us women that, you know, we end up getting married, having kids, you lose a little bit of that woman in yourself. And so I know when I came into this, I needed some of that back, and I'm still working on it, you know, but I've come a long way. So, you know, you feel like you have, you know, this opportunity to get glam, to take pictures, to feel pretty, you know, to be with your girls. Like, we don't get to do that all the time because we're busy being moms and working and wives and all that kind of stuff. So this is like our thing, you know?
And it's interesting because there's a certain level of guilt with recreating yourself as a mom, as a wife, as a woman, when you already have other duties. And I always, you know, when I first had Junior, I struggled for a while there because I was looking for the person that I was before. I was looking for the person that I was before. I was looking for the relationship that we had before. And I read something one day that was like, you're never going to find that person. Like, that person is gone. The moment that your life changed, like, it's gone. You have to be able to recreate this new version of you that is now a mom and a wife in a relationship that shares a kid. And now you have this, now you have that. And it's like, we naturally move to this new version of us as if it's our responsibility to do so, because it is. But we don't do that for the personal side of us. Like, you shift as a wife, you shift it within yourself to become a mom and to take care of things. You shift as a professional in your career, and you make the moves that you need to make, and you turn into and you step into this new version of you in every area of life that you need to. But for some reason, when it comes to your own growth, or, you know, evolving a certain way, or feeling pretty, or feeling feminine, showing up for yourself, it always has like a negative thing to it, because you're not supposed to be necessarily transforming and recreating a new version of you that's just yours and that's just for you.
I have two things actually that come to mind now that I wanted to share. So, with a part of growth. So it's funny, all the things that I've learned, because I've learned a lot this year and a half, you know, from you guys, from myself. And I think I mentioned it once. There's a lot of the lessons that I've learned through this. I applied them to my own self with my job. Like, when I was going through this whole process, you know, interviewing for this big position, that I didn't think that I was like, okay, I can't do this. What am I thinking again? I was like, no, but wait, I'm committed. If I do this with this part of my life, I could do it with this part. So it almost like it seeped into this part of my life. The other thing is that, like, my daughter, it's funny, we were staying, you know, in my closet the other day, and she was looking at my shoes, and she's like, these shoes are crazy looking, like some pink leopard shoes. She's like, you've changed ever since you started doing those shows. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've changed. She's like, yeah, because you're more confident now. You wear these different shoes. And it was funny because they watch you, like they see it, like your own children are telling you that you're different, that you changed.
you know, that you're more confident. So it's just, and you know, and she's 10, but it's funny how it seeps into other parts of your life. It's not about you getting on a stage and putting on a bikini. It's so many other things.
Yeah, it trickles through.
It's crazy.
And it's funny because the you've changed makes people so like, what do you mean I've changed, right? And it's like, we're supposed to, like, you should too, always, you know, it's okay to change. We're supposed to evolve, but that's awesome that she can even see it, you know.
That's
That's so cool.
I
love it.
those stories are always so great because it's never really the things that you set out for,
What people think,
but are some of the most rewarding always.
Yeah, for sure.
We would really like to chat about this whole High Rocks thing when you do it, so that you can give everybody your insight on how that experience was. And then obviously we will reveal what our next goal is at that moment. But between now and then, you guys can follow Marcia on all social media platforms. And if you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook or listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, or any of those things, all the places. Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Like here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. People point and I never know where the thing is. I don't know how they know where it is.
It's on the. Isn't it at the bottom? Like those little, like the thumb. Like, no.
You know where it is.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
for taking the time.
Thank you.
And sharing all of your big sister wisdom.
This is our Friday night happy hour.
We have definitely had a blast watching all of this unfold with you.
It's been amazing.
And as much as we give you a hard time about brunch,
we love you.
Not knowing where the restaurants are, you know, it's always awesome to have you with us.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
And nothing but fun times ahead. We'll see you in Vegas in 3 weeks.
Yes.
So excited.
We'll have photo shoots before Miami. We'll be in Miami. I mean, there's still so much more to do.
You're gonna hear me screaming your name, Lais. I'm gonna scream really loud.
Go.
Get that crown.
All right, Marcia. Have a good night. Have a good night, everybody. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We will be back next week with more.
Peace.